Hello my brilliant home buyers and sellers, this is Faryal, and in today's video we are going to talk about the market update for the month of May for the Greater Toronto area, and we're going to check out what made it to the news. And at the end of the video I have prepared a table to show you what the average prices are doing starting January of this year up until May. So guys, let's get right into it. First, let's take a look at the market stats. For the month of May, we saw that sales went up year over year by 24.7%. The total sales recorded were over 9,000. That explains a lot of market activity and bidding wars that we're seeing. Now, new listings were down year over year by 18.7%. However, check this out. Month over month, they were actually up by 33.7%, which is definitely a positive news and a relief for a lot of buyers out there because now they have a little bit more options to choose from. So when it comes to months of inventory, as I've explained in my previous videos as well, it's basically when there's no other listings are coming to the market, how long will it take us to sell the current inventory that we have? So when I looked at last year, May 2022, we were sitting at only 1 month of inventory. Now, when I saw last month of May 2023, we actually moved up to 2.2 months of inventory, which means we have a lot more houses now available on the market for sale. So looking at the average days, how long will it take you to sell your home? In May, it was recorded about 14 days on average. And when it comes to average home prices for all home types in the Greater Toronto area, we are sitting at $1,196,101, which is down by 1.2% year over year. So I will show you, as I mentioned at the end of this video, the chart where it goes over average prices month over month, so stay with me for that. Now let's check out what made it to the news. So number one, Bank of Canada raised its interest rates by 25 basis points. Let's take a look at this press release by Bank of Canada that explains their decision to raise the interest rates.
So here's the Bank of Canada press release, and where they explain what's the reason behind increasing the rate by 25 basis points. So I've highlighted where it talks about Canadian economy. Of course, that's what we are interested in. So it says the Canada economy was stronger than expected in the first quarter of 2023. The GDP growth is 3.1. We also saw that the housing market activity has picked up. Spending on interest-sensitive goods increased, and our labor market remains pretty strong. Also, another thing that they mention is that higher immigration and participation rates are expanding the supply of workers, but also that new workers who are coming to Canada have been quickly hired, reflecting continued strong demand for labor. So there's a lot of things that were cooking in the pot that kind of pushed the decision of raising the interest rates. Now, the next announcement will be on July 12th, so keep an eye out for that.
Number two that really made it to the news is the uptick in market activity during April and May. We started to see multiple offers, bidding offers again on the table. Also, many sellers were holding offers and properties were selling over the list price. In the Greater Toronto area, we saw in May that the properties were selling 5% over asking. We also saw that many sellers entered the market, which definitely increased the inventory because of the demand and also that the prices were going higher. Let's check out this article published by Stories that explains and talks about supply and demand that we are facing right now.
So here's the Stories article that I wanted to show it to you. Now, keep in mind the stats that are taken in this article are by RBC Economics Report. Okay, so over here, they talk about that sellers are beginning to warm up to the recovering housing market. However, even though we saw the influx of home sellers coming to the market, the inventory did go up month over month, but it seems that it's not enough to keep up with the demand so that the prices can come down, right? We're seeing that higher prices will most likely play a role to stabilize the market and cool off the demand, because what usually happens is that when the prices go up, a lot of sellers get encouraged to go ahead in the market and sell their homes for a higher price. That might help to cool off the demand because now the prices are higher, the interest rates are going up, might not have that many buyers out there who will be able to afford those homes. Over here, it mentions that Toronto pressure has built up fast. So in between April and May, as I was mentioning, the housing market observed a 5.2% uptick in activity, which came in at a spectacular 25%, resembling gains recorded during the pandemic boom. So it picked up really fast, and I think that's also because we saw that the Bank of Canada paused their interest rate twice in a row. That encouraged the buyers to go ahead and take that step. So this is definitely a debate that keeps going on into the market for quite some time now, of supply being low and demand being high. I guess the month of June will really help us tell what happens after the interest rate hikes. We will see what really happens with the sales of the housing market in the housing market.
Number 3, Ontario passes the controversial Bill 97, helping home buyers protecting tenants. I do have the link to the full bill if you want to check it out in my description below, but over here I'll just give you some key highlights. So when it comes to tenants, what this bill is going to do is provide more funding to clear the landlord and tenant backlog by hiring more people to really speed up the filing and hearing process. We all know how long that takes. Number 2, what it will do is that it will give tenants the access to be able to install AC units. However, if you do install those AC units, landlords can raise rent to compensate for additional hydro costs. Number 3, what it will do is it will reinforce rules against evictions, doubling fines for bad faith evictions as well. Now, when it comes to home buyers, the bill is asking to review the cooling off period when you buy a freehold home. Also, whether to make it mandatory to receive legal advice before signing a purchasing agreement. It also will look at increasing home supply by encouraging municipalities to provide a price range and mix of housing types, for example, low to mid-rise apartments in different communities, and also to be able to build more housing in the rural areas. Now let's check out the average prices and the changes month over month.
So in front of me is the chart that I was mentioning to you about the average prices in the Greater Toronto Area and what has been happening since the month of January. We were sitting at just over 1,038,000. From December to January, there was a decrease in price by 1.2%. However, starting February, we started to see drastic increase in the prices. So from January to February, we saw 5.48% increase. From February to March, we saw 1.18%. From March to April, 4.03%. And from April to May, we saw 3.7%. So we're seeing that the prices are constantly going up, regardless of what's happening in the market right now. And again, I think the major role is the inventory that is playing in this price hikes constantly. But again, as I said, in month of June, after the interest rate hikes, we will really see what happens to the prices and to the demand. I'm really curious to see what effect it will have on our market.
So I hope you find this information useful. Let me know what you are facing right now as a home buyer and seller in this market in the comments below. If you have questions, I'm always here to answer. You can also simply book a consultation call with me. The link is in my description. Until next time, have yourself a wonderful day and remember to be kind to yourself and others.